Hi there everyone. It's arrived at long last. My big box. I wouldn't mind, but the rifle's only about that big. I've been very patient, honest, and I've not been haranguing the lovely people at Sportsman Gun Centre. Hi all, hi Abu and Gary and James, thanks for your help. But 17 weeks tomorrow I would have been waiting, and I got this baby yesterday. Thanks to Mike as well from Montrose Guns and Tackle, and to all my local friends. Mike can order in anything from SGC, including FX rifles, CZ rifles and Pards. Hey. So SGC a couple of times in the last few weeks. We've had £500,000 worth of deliveries of Pards. I'll be shortly bringing you a Pard SA45LRF top of the range thermal scope. This is not it, this is a 008, but same size. Shortly be bringing you that video with review with Bruce. But first, so we have a big cardboard box. I don't know why this didn't arrive in one of those plastic flight cases with all the clunk 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 clips around it, but anyway, I just waited 17 weeks for this, paid rather a lot of money, unfortunately, and it finally arrived. My new, leaflet, my new FAC air rifle, the FX Dreamline bottle pop with the bottle. So let me just get this around. Oh, and two 18-shot magazines, because this fella's 2.2 FAC. So, give you some vital statistics. Just over 29 inches long, or 74 centimeters, and that includes a thread protector on the 1/2-inch UNF thread on the muzzle shroud. This fella weighs exactly 2.8 kilos. As you can see, it's one tidy rifle. We have the Dreamline bottle pup, 2.8 kilos. It's awesome, it feels so light. Like the Wildcat, you can hear the hammer sliding back and forth when it's not under spring tension. Basically, you'll recognise the Wildcat stock, very Wildcat-esque. From the back, it's identical apart from a few cutouts, right through to here, where obviously there's a 6 centimeter diameter carbon fiber bottle. I love the look of this, so ergonomic. The balance, pucker cheek piece, feels nice and cool under your, but not cold under your cheek, and that feels so good. So differences from the Wildcat, apart from the fact that this fella's FAC. We've got a 480cc carbon fiber bottle. We've got a gauge for the tank pressure and another gauge for the regulator pressure. And a quirk, if you're not familiar with this, when you fire, the regulator needle moves, it jumps, and then returns to where it was, returns to battery, basically because that's the regulator backfilling, ready for the next shot. So don't be surprised if you see the regulator gauge needle wobble around while you're using this fella. It's got a Wildcat style cocking lever, side lever, although it's behind the magazine. And this is because, as you're probably aware, the Dreamline is a modular system. You can take the Dreamline action out of the bullpup stock. This is the riser rail for the bullpup, but you can put it into a traditional stock, sporting stock, a aluminium chassis, some sci-fi type stock. This fella is basically the bullpup stock, and the main difference is you've got a remote trigger linkage and a raised scope rail. It's dovetail only, except there's, I can feel lower my fingernail, it's actually dovetail and weaver. I'm not going to call it Picatinny because there's no slots, and obviously recoilless, so there's no recoil arrestor stud type slots. Very nice piece of kit. Okay, so we have an FX leaflet. This is actually comprehensive. English only, so obviously they produce a completely different leaflet for different countries. A bit of background, some examples. See what I mean about the modular stock? We have synthetic stocks, we've got the Wildcat style version, takedown versions, and traditional sporting versions. Lots of useful information and do's and don'ts, how to load the magazine. Fill probe, my Wildcat has a Mark 1 style fill probe that my Best Fittings QD fits on the back. Because this fella has a QD Forster type fitting on the side, and the blue bit you can maybe just see there is a particulate filter, but because it's got that, we have a plastic or Delrin, possibly, I'm not sure which, plug that goes over the top, so Terry should be happy with this. Except, there we go, goes on with a click, but there's nothing, it doesn't get one full turn to lock it in place. There's not a lot to stop that from getting knocked off, so I'm going to have to try and make sure I don't lose that in the field. So, oh, and also got to show you, we have the comfy cheek piece for right-handers. You know that it's for FAC when you've got two dials, low, medium and high power for airflow and minimum to maximum. So we have minimum 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maximum A, B, C, D, E. So there's 12 power settings on this, and I'll be doing another video in due course with full rundown on power settings, because I'm fascinated to find out what all these different power settings are, how they tie in with the low, medium, high. I'm not going to be doing any slug testing for the time being. I haven't got hold of any slugs yet, but I'll be testing that in due course, because the barrel it comes with can apparently fire both pellets and slugs, but it's not a dedicated slug liner. Anyway, before I forget, so that's about the fill connection, cocking and loading, various instructions, including don't put the safety on unless the rifle's cocked, which is interesting. Oh, and there's also instructions how to change things like the pellet probe and the barrel if you're changing caliber. I've no interest in changing this from 2.2 to anything else. I'll get to the magazines in a second. Before I forget, the elephant in the corner is we have a barrel anchored at the rear, and I believe this is a shroud containing a liner which takes, in this case it's a pellet liner, it'll fire slugs as well. I'll put a photo up around about here showing how this fella looks on the sort of stock images on Sportsman Gun Centre website, and you'll see in those images there's not a forward barrel clamp here to connect to the razor rail to the barrel shroud. So this is an addition since the Dreamline was launched, and this basically ties the scope rail solidly to the barrel. I say solidly because if I just see that, that's just a little bit of effort, and the barrel is wiggling back and forth. And if I push, watch this gap. So the barrel that's anchored at the rear here is kind of very free floating, and it does move a fair bit, but the sight rail moves with it. So I'm hoping that once I have my day and night scope, once I have my Pard008LRF in place, and I'll be zeroing this evening and getting some footage for you to include on this video, I'm hoping that if when I'm out on my permission, for example, if I was to lean the barrel on something, the barrel moves slightly, I'm hoping the scope will move with it. So fingers crossed. Anyway, so wanted to be honest and mention that to you. I was a bit alarmed when I saw that, but once I saw that the scope rail moves with the barrel, then hopefully it'll be all right. Give you a look at the fella. So we have a standard Wildcat style butt, and I am replacing this in just a couple of days with a claw at the rear, which will basically be this kind of shape, very roughly, to anchor the rifle in my shoulder, so I don't have to hunch my head forwards to get my cheek on this rather nice cheek piece. Modifications wise, the only other thing I'm planning to do, if I just reach over here, I have a moderator here. This is courtesy of Andrew Huggett of Huggett Moderators. Excellent piece of kit, gorgeous machining, alloy. This is the Mini Magna. There we go. Huggett Magna says the end cap, but this is a Mini Magna. The full-size Magna is about yay big. And Andrew, basically, I'm assured, this is 1/2 inch UNF, but I'm assured that this quietens things down significantly. And I've gone for the Mini Magna rather than the full-size Magna, simply to make this rifle as portable as possible. With a view to portability, what I've also bought from Braces of Bristol, I bought this. So this is a barrel clamp. So it's synthetic line, so it doesn't mark the carbon fibre bottle. There's the Sabre logo, and I'm going to have to remove all 3 of these fixing screws, open this out, fit it on the bottle, and that'll give me a Picatinny QD for my bipod for bench resting when I'm doing the zeroing today. And I dug out some electrical tie wraps, and I'm going to fix the forward end of my sling swivel, wrap it. I'm going to do a temporary fix for now because it doesn't look like there's enough meat in the alloy here for me to drill and tap this. So yeah, we'll see. I'll bring that to you when I find it. But tonight I will be attaching this bottle clamp to then attach a quick detach bipod, QD Picatinny bipod, to the fore end of the rifle. Regarding putting it here, there's nothing on here, and there's obviously bottle connections inside, so I wouldn't really be happy drilling anything in here. And stock wise, looks like the stock is connected by 1 screw up through here. So that's the basics. Oh, and safety catch is on the right hand side, but as I mentioned, the instructions say don't engage or disengage safety unless the rifle is cocked. So fair enough. Oh, and the cocking action, by the way, I've got to say, I can decock this rifle. So if I just, there's almost effortless. So if I have it's on fire, if I just hold this, there we go, spring pressure back, and that's decocked, and I'll put it back on safe. But yeah, you're apparently not supposed to put that onto fire until the rifle is cocked. But that is a very smooth, very light cocking action, and I'll put on screen here somewhere. I'll measure the cocking effort. I'm going to measure the cocking effort with the power dials, both of them at various different settings, to let you know if the cocking effort or the trigger pull changes with different power settings. So I'll be as thorough as I can, as well, of course, in due course, as doing thorough chrono checks. The rifle more easily lies on its right hand side despite the cocking lever because of this the cover on the fill port. And I'll quickly just explain the 18 shot magazine. You can see it here. If I hold it here in relief, you can see the edge of this magazine, and if I just click, and it goes anti-clockwise or clockwise. So 2 clicks, the faceplate comes off, and then you rotate the magazine, again spring pressure, excuse me, and then when you get to the first chamber, put your finger behind it, drop a pellet in head first, and then when you let go, that pellet will hold the magazine. Then you fill up the other 17 chambers, and then when you let go, obviously there will be under spring pressure because of the pellet holding it, and then you pop faceplate back on, and then either anti-clockwise or clockwise, 2 clicks, and that's fully intact, the magazine. And the magazine is called the FX Mega Magazine, 2.2, 18 rounds, compatible with Crown and Dreamline. One other thing to show you, I am going to attach the bottle clamp in a minute, ready to attach the forwards sling straw stud, and I'm also going to drill here and attach one of these Jack Pyke sling swivel studs, which I've already bought. And one other thing, before I forget, trying to be thorough, we've got the 1/2 inch UNF female thread on the end of the Mini Magna moderator. It's got knurling on the outside, and that's the thread protector. And what I found out yesterday, I was just checking, double checking that this is the right size, and of course it is, but and you can see how much that barrel wobbles around. But as I say, hopefully the scope will be wobbling just as much as the barrel's wobbling, in unison. So I tightened that up last night, and that's quite a nice look on the rifle. It doesn't look out of place at all to me. When I then unscrewed, I'm going to have to put some gun oil on that thread, because when I unscrewed yesterday the moderator, you can see a gap appearing here, maybe, and so the rear cap, obviously this moderator can be stripped to be cleaned and serviced, so if in doubt, I'll use an elastic band like the old jam jar lid trick, and I'll make sure that I don't sort of attempt to unscrew the shroud by accident when I'm unscrewing the moderator. This fella does fit Swiss Arms rucksack gun slip, but not with the moderator intact, so I've got to put the moderator on each time. It's not the end of the world. While I'm here with moderator in place, the rifle will be 86 centimeters. So the Huggit Mini Magna adds 126 mil. Right, the next part, you know I love my day and night scopes. So here we have Pard008LRF, laser rangefinder, objective lens, IR lamp, focuses and narrows or widens and spreads the beam, and you push the collar in and out, nice amount of resistance. And a lot of people have had problems with these mounts. A lot of people have had failures, either the bolts snapping or the mount itself not being ideal. Digital scopes do show up any misalignments between barrel, action block, scope rail. You already know that KevGun on the UK Night Vision forum, hello to everyone on the forum, and on the UK Airgun forum, KevGun is bringing out at some point his own adjustable mount that I've already done a video on with Bruce. But there's another UK made mount, fully adjustable, coming out soon. It will lift your Pard maybe about 2 centimeters, 20 mil, but there is a new one coming out soon, and I'll hopefully be unveiling it soon, because the CNC tooling issues that have delayed its release are apparently hopefully being fixed. Give you a bit of a close-up. So here's the scope rail, and you can hopefully see here, top part surface of the rail is dovetail, and then here, if I put my fingernail in it, here there's a wider dovetail, which is basically the width of a Picatinny or a Weaver rail. So Picatinny brackets do fit. So with the left hand side, the fixed edge of the Pard's Picatinny clamp on the lower edge of the dovetail, not the upper 11mm dovetail. You've got the adjustable clamp again on the lower dovetail, and I've got about 6 centimeters back from the tip of the razor rail to the tip of the Pard's adapter. So that's me. Got my eye relief roughly right. I've folded back the eye cup, as you can see, just so it doesn't obscure the corners of the rectangular screen. This is the older Pard, so this is 800 by 600, the display, but still 4:3 ratio. On eBay, I've ordered a claw for the back, so if that adds 1 or 2 centimeters to the length of pull, then I'll move the scope back 1 or 2 centimeters. Just to let you know, I've just reweighed the pup with my day and night scope intact and the moderator, and there's a battery, and I weighed it with the bottle clamp as well, where I'll be attaching the bipod, and the whole lot is now 3.8 kilos. So all that's missing is a loaded magazine and a sling. So 3.8 kilos. Let's see if I can show you how it looks in the shoulder. Excellent. Because I've folded the rubber eye cut back, I can see all four corners of the 4:3 display. To me, that's still a very nice, very compact rifle, and it's really not that heavy at all. 3.8 kilos. Some rifles are heavier than that without a scope or anything. Very nice indeed. Right, so what's next? To the back cave? Nope, got to go to GARC this evening, get this fella zeroed. I'll be using 15.89 grain JSB exacts, and if I have time, I'll also do accuracy tests with 15.89 grain JSB Hades, see how they group. Thanks to the power adjuster, I can turn down the power to sub 12 foot-pounds at GARC. Afterwards, if I have time and I've got energy beans, if I just stop in at a mission on the way home, then I can turn the dial back up to max, tweak the zero for 50 meters, see if there are any obliging rabbits around. I have to say, the spiral mesh covered vents at the rear of the Huggett Mini Magna, remains to be seen how the bottle feels with the bottle clamp intact to take the bipod. It may be that, it may be that I actually don't leave the bottle clamp on, but the bottle clamp is going to be my primary way of attaching a forward sling swivel attachment point. So we'll see. Oh, I should note that I filled the bottle earlier on to exactly 230 bar using the more accurate gauge on my fill tank. The bottle pup's own gauge was showing about 250 bar. It's dropped slightly now to 235 or so. So we'll see how many shots we get out of this fella on full power. So what I've settled on in the end is I've put this Sabre bottle clamp with the Picatinny rail at the end of the cylinder shape of the carbon fibre bottle, so that I can shoulder the rifle perfectly comfortably. I can either grip at the end of the bottle where the clamp is, or I can comfortably hold it back a bit in the bottle proper. Excuse me, the sun has just come out. So let's see if this combination, all in one, all it's missing, the magazine and the sling, let's just check that it fits the rucksack gun slip. So here we have my Swiss Arms rucksack gun slip. So 2 zip pouches, 2 central Velcro pouches. So one is normally where my Allen keys live, and one now conveniently fits the Huggett Mini Magna. Right, so excuse the cutout. You can fit 2 rifles in here, one on each side of this centre divider. And the cutout was a year or 2 ago. I tested the ZB Lite Pro mount, adjustable mount, underneath the Pard on my Wildcat, and it was just ever so slightly too tight. So I did actually cut out a rectangular panel for the laser rangefinder, and in the end I decided not to use the ZB Lite Pro because I didn't really need it for my own setup. There's the Wildcat with the target healing adjustable claw. If I just close it up without actually zipping it up, you can see how it does zip and it takes the Wildcat nicely. So now put the Wildcat to one side. That's going to go back in the gun safe, because tonight is the debut of the pup. So moderator off and a comfortable gap there. And let's just check the top. Yeah, that's going to zip up easily, and it looks like it's also still going to have room once I take the butt pad off in a couple of days and add the adjustable claw from GB 3D PD. And other essential items for tonight will be pellets and the 2 magazines, and my best fittings Weekender buddy bottle, which has the female connection, which is perfect to fill up the bottle. So this is 1.1 litre 300 bar tank, and basically I'll find out tonight how many shots at reduced power I get out of the pup, and once the bottle pressure gets down to the reg pressure nearly, then it'll be time for a top up, and we'll see how much the Weekender buddy bottle lifts the pressure in the pup. Fingers crossed.
If I put it on night vision for a second, then you'll see we actually need to LRF box. So if I pop the LRF on, the little yellow aiming box at 50 metres. I'm nearly done.